Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kay and this is Kay Unscripted, the place where we break down the hottest reality shows, and today we're diving into Love is Blind Season 8. If you haven't heard of this show before, where have you been? Trust me, you're in for a wild ride. So let's get into it. I am a Love is Blind fan and I have been watching Love is Blind since Season 1, and I am so excited to be on this journey now recapping the show. So for those who have never heard about this show, Love is Blind is a social experiment meets reality dating show, and it is hosted by Nick and Vanessa Lachey. The singles date and fall in love without ever seeing each other. So this experiment starts off with the singles in the pods where they go on speed dates, talking through a wall, getting to know each other purely through conversations. When season 1 just came about, the couples were advised to not give any hints on what they look like, not their shape, not their ethnicity, not anything that would give off who they are. However, as we've watched throughout the seasons, there have been many persons who have tried to give hints of who they look like, even naming celebrities and popular persons that they have or they find some similarity in. So if a connection is strong enough, one person might pop the big question without ever laying eyes on their fiancé. Once they were engaged, the couples finally meet in person, they go on a romantic getaway, and they move in together. This is where things get messy. Reality starts to kick in, and sometimes the couples start to have doubts. Once the couple gets to wedding day, they must decide at the altar if they will say yes or leave with a broken heart. Throughout the season also, what we realized in the beginning of the season, when season 1 just came about, what we realized is that most of the couples made it to the altar, and at the altar they would say yes or no, or we want to continue dating. But what we realize as the season has gone by is that couples do not wait to get to wedding day. Once they realize that they're not a match and they cannot continue on with the relationship, they end it. Season 8 of Love is Blind promises major drama, shocking twists, and maybe even a runaway bride or two. That is very interesting. So to start things off, we're going to get into the names, ages, and occupations of these singles. We're going to start with the ladies. So our first lady is Virginia. She's 34 and she's a healthcare recruiter. Her tagline, or I guess something she wants us to know, is despite bad relationships, I am still showing up and wanting love. The next single lady we have is Yemi. She's 30 years and she's a product sales manager. And her tagline says, I want someone who makes me comfortable and helps me grow. Next we have Taylor, who is 32. She's a colonoscopy nurse and she wants us to know that she's excited to take out the superficial aspects of dating. Next, we have Monica, who is 28. Her occupation is digital marketing. Monica says, I love to cook, even if I'm not always amazing at it. Next, we have Sarah, who's 29, and she's an oncology nurse. Her tagline says, I'm really looking forward to living life together with my best friend. Then we have Tiara, very beautiful. She's 34 and she's a marketing strategist. She says, I am looking for someone who is kind and gentle. Then we have Vanessa. She's 31 and she's a media planner. Vanessa wants us to know that I am very much a go-getter. I don't know about you, but she reminds me of Marissa from season 7. She looks a lot like Marissa. Okay, so next we have Molly. She's 30 and she's an executive assistant, and her tagline says, if I'm on the dance floor, My partner needs to cheer me on or join in. Okay, Molly. Next, we have Amanda, who's 43, and she's a district retail manager. She says, I am feeling super hopeful and optimistic. Next, we have Brittany, very beautiful again. She's 35 and she's a partnership executive. And Brittany's tagline says, I want someone who is family oriented and into sports. Next, we have Cassandra, who is 30 and she's a hairstylist. Cassandra, says, I'm looking for a partner who is emotionally intelligent. Next, we have Meg, who is an oncology nurse, and she says, I'm generous and I like to have fun. Next, we have Kylie, who's 28 and she's a medical assistant. Kylie says, I'm ready to receive someone present and there for me. Next, we have Madison, who's 28 and she's an artist. I have never settled for anything less than I deserve. I know that's right, girl. Next, we have Lauren, who's 41 and she's an educational sales. And Lauren says, I have high expectations of the person I want to be with. Next, we have Ashley, who is 28 and she's a client success manager. And her tagline says, I want someone curious to travel the world with me. So these are all of the ladies for this season who casted for the season. And now we have the men. First, we have Ben, who's 28 and he's a developer. His tagline says, the key to my heart is positive energy and a growth mentality. Let me just say that there has been a lot of traction around Ben. There's a lot of things on social media about Ben, which we're not going to get into for now. So let's go on to the next guy. We have Brad, who is 35 and he's a dentist. And his tagline says, I fear the unknown, but I am excited to try this. Next, we have Andrew, who's 27 and he's a realtor, a little bit young, but he says, I'm looking for someone open to having deep intellectual conversations. Next, we have Adam, who is 33 and he's a fashion director or co-owner. His tagline says, I'm looking for someone funny who makes anything a good time. Next, we have Daniel, who's 30 and he's a sales account executive. And he says, I don't have much of a filter. Okay then. Then we have Alex, who is 29 and he's a commercial real estate broker. And he says, I'm looking for someone that is kind, adventurous, and likes to watch Netflix. Okay, Netflix and chill. Then we have Brian, who's 30 and he's a wine bar owner. And he says, my friends would say I'm fun, lively, and ambitious. And next we have Mason, who is 33 and he's a cinematographer. And his tagline says, I'm looking for a partner who is passionate, driven, and honest. Then we have Devin, who is 29. He's a youth director or coach. And he says, I'm looking for someone who stays loyal through the ups and downs. And then we have Tom, who's 38. He's a management consultant. And he says, I'm pretty big into health and fitness. I can immediately tell by his picture that he's into fitness. Then we have Mo, who's 35 and he's a property manager. He says, I'm looking for someone who has my back. Then we have David, who's 33 and he's a medical device sales. And he says, Christmas Eve is a special family tradition that I want to share with my partner. Okay. Then we have Scott, who is 34 and he's a project manager. He says, I'm attracted to a girl who is well read. I don't know, were they editing his picture and they didn't get his hair correctly? What is that? Oh, okay, let's continue. We have Hugo, who is 30 and he's into marketing. And he says, dating has been quite repetitive and mundane for me. Next, we have Joey, who is 35 and he's a physician associate. And he says, my friends and family would describe me as caring and empathetic. And these are all of the men and the women of this season. So Love is Blind dropped a snippet giving us a little bit more insight on the cast for the show, where they were asked questions or some of them were statements, and we're going to get into it as well. The first statement that was asked is, the thing that gives me the ick. And Brian says, bad hygiene. Then we have Madison, who says long nails, mommy issues, cheaters, and someone who doesn't like dogs. Then we have Virginia, who says someone who is self-centered or self-centered men who don't consider other people or wouldn't consider her. Then we have Mason also answering this question, and he says someone who is on their phones too much, not able to unplug, and doesn't know how to be with you in the moment. Then we have Joey, who says, if they give me a wet willy, he won't be happy about it. And to be honest, this is the first time I've ever heard about a wet willy, and I literally had to Google a wet willy to find out what it is. Please don't come for me. I'm from the Caribbean and I've never heard this phrase before. So a wet willy is wetting your fingers, your fingertips or your fingers with saliva and sticking it in someone's ear. That is disgusting. Do people actually do that? That's gross. We end this question with Cassandra saying, when a guy stands up and you see his butt crack. I want to agree with Cassandra because I don't know if it's the culture. Even here in the Caribbean, sometimes when you see men walking around and their boxers are showing, and I'm just like, why? I don't want to see your butt. Why do you not know what a belt is? Like, what is this? So I'm with you on that, girl. So the second thing that was asked is, it's a statement that says, my family and friends would describe me as, and then we have Andrew, who says disciplined and consistent. Then we have Brittany, who says adventurous. A lot of them live vicariously through her. Very beautiful woman. Brittany is very, very pretty. Then we have Monica, who says she's secretly really weird, but in a good way. We have Devin, who says he's adaptable and he gets along with anyone in any situation. Scott says his family and friends would describe him as a golden retriever or a 5-year-old that just needs to run around and get his energy out. I don't know, comparing yourself to a dog is just really strange. Okay, then we have Tiara, who's very pretty as well, and she says someone who can quote a movie down to the T. Then we have Brad, who also says hardworking, funny, and loyal. And to Lauren, her family would describe her as an overthinker and an overprocessor. These two together is a disaster waiting to happen. I'm an overthinker, so I get that, but I process things really well. So to be an overprocessor can be a lot. Next question or statement that is asked is, I am nervous about, and then we have Amanda, who says she thinks her age can be a factor, so making a good connection in the pod and having the guy not pick her is something that she would be really nervous about. And Tom also responds to that statement and says that he's looking for a life partner and sharing the good and bad times, and that makes him really nervous. Then we have, what am I looking for in a perfect partner? Vanessa says she's looking for someone who is fun and always down to try something new. Molly says she's looking for someone that she can show her whole authentic self to. Daniel says someone to build a family with, to grow close to, and hopefully grow old with. And I feel like that's what most of us are looking for. Well, I am married, so most people are looking for that in their perfect partner. We have David, who says someone that matches him, that likes to go out and do fun things. And Meg says she's looking for someone who is goofy. And Adam says he calls it the grocery store test, someone who's going to have fun going to the grocery store and make it a fun experience. The next statement is, I am not willing to sacrifice. And Yemi says her faith, it keeps her grounded and is the foundation for the way she lives her life. Ashley says her excitability. She wants someone who will cheer her on as she is in the middle of the dance floor, or gets excited next to her while watching the sunset. That for me was a little strange. I don't understand that, because watching the sunset seems like something that's quiet. So yeah, I don't know. Then we have Hugo, who says he's alone time. He needs space every now and then. And I get that. I'm a person that likes my space sometimes. But the great thing about it is, even when you're in a relationship or in a marriage, it's healthy to have your alone time. And when I say alone time, I don't mean going away for days and not hearing from your partner. You could be sitting in the room together, you're doing your thing, he's doing his thing, and you're having your alone time. So I get that. Then we have Benji, who says his connection with his family and his beliefs. And lastly, we have Mo, who says a non-negotiable for love would be someone who doesn't have any faith. The last statement we have is one thing I do that might get on my partner's nerves. And so we have Alex, who says sometimes he snores and he cannot help it. Then we have Kylie, who says she is not good at putting her clothes away, or maybe even putting her clothes together. Because what are you wearing? I don't know. The outfit is not, I don't know, it's a little bit all over the place. Kylie says she's a little messy, and girl, it shows in your outfit, because what is this? Sarah says she procrastinates a lot with everything. That can be very problematic, to be procrastinating at everything. It sometimes means that you keep yourself back. So we have Ben, who says he's always running around dancing, doing something energetic at all times. And Taylor, lastly, who says she sings a lot of sentences. She's always singing for no reason. I guess that's what she means, because she said something about, do you want Taco Bell or something? And I'm like, okay. Then we close off this short video with Molly saying that she's excited to meet new people and hopefully to find a husband. And Alex says he cannot wait to get into the pods and meet the love of his life. So guys, these are the singles for season 8 of Love is Blind. The episodes will be dropping on Valentine's Day, which is February 14th, 2025. I will be recapping episode by episode, or maybe 2 episodes at a time, or all of the episodes that they drop together. So I'm looking forward to discussing it. I'm already cracking up at all of the comments, or most of the comments, on the Instagram page of Love is Blind. You guys are crazy, and of course we love to hear the chatter. We love to hear your opinions. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe, comment below, and tell us what you're thinking about Love is Blind season 8, what you're looking forward to, what you don't like, what are your opinions of the cast so far. Let's get into it. See you next time.